Good morning, my little Sunday morning littles. I'm here to do our last little Thanksgiving lesson for you. And I had told you last week when we played our little Thanksgiving game that we would do a lesson on Psalm 100. And that is what we're going to do today. And we're going to try our best to tie in all of our lessons that we've had so far to this lesson, to Psalm 100. Okay? All right. So as we look at our little screen here, we do see that our lesson today is taken from the book of Psalms. And it is the 100th Psalm. And the first thing that the 100th Psalm says is to make a joyful noise. And sometimes when I think about the word noise, I want to think about it being something annoying and something that gets on my nerves. But, noises don't always have to be like that. And if we make a joyful noise unto the Lord, He loves to hear those. He loves to hear those joyful noises. He does. So the title, really, I guess, of our whole lesson today is called Make, Serve, Come, Know, Enter, and Give. Okay? And all of those words are here at the bottom, listed in the little yellow box. Okay? And hopefully by the end of the lesson, you will know more about what each one of these words mean and how to do those words. Okay? All right, so let's look at our very first slide. Our first slide says, do you know what a verb is? I feel like I'm in first grade talking to some first graders right now. A verb is an action word. Now, an action word tells or shows what someone is doing. If I'm jumping a rope or jumping like these children are here at the bottom, then the action word in that is jump. It's telling everyone what those children are doing. Okay. If I am singing a song, like in this picture, well, the action word is sing. That's what those children are doing. If I am praying, then the action word is pray. It's what we're doing. Yeah. So do you see all those pictures? In each one of those pictures, those children are doing an action. They're doing something. You can use verbs to tell, and you can also use verbs to show what you're doing if you demonstrate it. So I like verbs. I think they're pretty cool words, and we're going to use several verbs in our lesson today. Okay? All right, so remember that important word, verb. It's an action word, showing or telling action. All right? Okay, Psalm 100 in the Bible tells us to do several action words in order to show our thanksgiving to the Lord. Now, in this time of the year, I think we may focus a little bit more on Thanksgiving and what the whole meaning of Thanksgiving is. But we should be thankful every day of the year, right? Okay, so when I say in order to show our Thanksgiving, yes, we're in that season, but let's think about trying to do these action words every day of our year, all right? Those words that we're going to be talking about are make, serve, come, know, enter, and give. So we're going to read Psalm 100 and see just how our actions will show thanksgiving in all things. And remember, we've had lessons to help us understand that we are not just thankful for the good things. We're thankful for the bad too. And we're not just thankful for the great big things. We're thankful for the small ones too. We should be thankful in all things. Okay, so those little words give thanks are at the bottom, right? Helping you remember that. We're going to turn to a slide that has Psalm 100 on it, okay? And I'm going to read Psalm 100, and as I'm reading it, I want you to touch your nose every time you hear the word make, serve, come, know, enter, and give. Okay? All right, let's see if you can do it. Here we go. I'm going to start. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, and his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Pretty cool. Now, I heard a lot of action words. I did, and I heard a lot of those as I was tapping my nose. I tapped my nose for the word bless because bless means also to transfer or to give. So I did tap my nose a little here. I did use give in our lesson because I felt like it might be a smidge bit easier for you to understand as a little. Okay. All right. So if you were listening for that word give, that's kind of where I used it in the word with the word bless. Okay. All right, so we're going to go and look at all of those action words that were in this psalm and see how we can do or apply those to our little lives every day. The very first action word that we heard in Psalm 100 was make. And Miss Michelle put a green box here that has the word make in it. Now, if you make something, that means you form it or you put it together. Sometimes you can make make a craft out of several different things. So you form that craft. Sometimes you can make something out of Play-Doh. So you form it. It's still Play-Doh, but it is formed into the shape of something. So you're making something. Sometimes you can put more than one thing together to make something. And sometimes you can even think about mommy making lunch or making dinner, and she has to put several ingredients together to make something. Okay, so if you make something, you've formed it, you've put it together, you've it's almost like you've invented it. It's there now because you made it. So Psalm 100 tells us to make a joyful noise by singing praises. That's one of the great ways to make a joyful noise. Now remember, noise doesn't always have to be an annoying thing. It's a beautiful thing when you make that joyful noise unto the Lord. And I think about you as littles and how you could sing and how you can sing those praises out to our Lord. And that is a great way to make that joyful noise is through your singing voice. It is. I like singing, so I like making a joyful noise through my singing voice. And if you're doing that, then you're doing an action. You're doing a verb. Yeah, so that is a great way to be thankful. Now, when I look at my next word, which is serve, if I look at the definition of serve and what it means to perform services for another person. Now, if you go to a restaurant and you order some food, and you're sitting at a table, you may actually have a server who brings your food out to you. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to do that now with the pandemic, but also if you think about just going to a drive-through restaurant, they're serving you that food out the window. They're performing a service by making your food, and then they're serving it to you by handing it to you. So think about when you serve someone, if you want to do it in a way of thanksgiving to show a beautiful action, then you might think about serving the Lord by gladly doing for others who are in need. Think about people or your friends at school or your neighbors who may not have it as good as you do. They may not have the food that they need for a Thanksgiving meal. And in a way to serve them, you could possibly participate in a food drive or give them things that they need. You could even serve by inviting them into your home if you wanted to eat. So serving can be in many different forms, but the action means to do for others who are in greater need than you are yourself. Okay, you're putting your friends' needs before yours, and that is a great way to serve. And it's showing thanksgiving. It is. Okay, I love that word serve. I do. Now, when I look at my next slide, we have two more action words on this slide. Okay, the first one is come in the bright green box. And if you come, it means to move or travel toward a specific place. Okay, so if you're toward that place, then you are coming to it. I have a picture of two children who are going to church. So if you come to church to worship the Lord, you come with thanksgiving in your heart. Yeah, coming to a place. It doesn't have to be a church that you come to, but I thought that that would be a pretty good thing to use for littles, because you come to Sunday school when you can, when our church is open for you. You come. And, that's all you have to do is to show your desire to come to the house of the Lord to be thankful. Yeah, it's a really easy, simple action. Yeah, and people are seeing you perform that action. It's cool. Now, to know, when I think about the word know, I want to tap my head or point to my brain, because if you know something, then you are aware of it. You realize it. Okay. The one thing that I think is so important with Psalm 100, of course, is to know that He is our Lord. We weren't made by anyone other than Him. And we need to know that fact in our brain. When we know that fact in our brain, then we can know for sure that Jesus lives in our heart, and know for sure that heaven is going to be our home. When I look at this little boy in the picture, he's sitting there and it looks like he knows exactly what he needs to know. He knows that Jesus lives in his heart. He knows that. He's got a smile on his face and he looks pretty content. So to know that, and to know that God is our creator, and everything that we've been given and everything that we have is all from Him. And to know that and really know it up here. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It is. I like that action word, know. I do. Now, when I go to this next slide, I see the last two action words that are in our lesson today. We have the word enter. So I enter, meaning I go in or come into a place. If you go somewhere and there is an enter sign, then you know that that is where you need to go into that place. You don't enter through an exit sign or an exit door, because that's where we go out. So entering is to come into. So when I think about coming into or entering in, I do think about going to church as well and entering into the church building. But I also like to think about how I enter the presence of our Lord by praying or through prayer. I can pray and seek the Lord, and He will come to me, and I will be within His presence. And we can always do that because the door is always open. Yeah, it's never locked. It's always open. That enter door into the presence of our Lord is never locked. Yeah, it's never a locked door. So we're free to enter that at all times. And that is something in itself that we need to be so thankful for, really too. In Psalm 100, it tells us to enter His gates with thanksgiving in our heart. And I love that. I love that, because if we have been given that opportunity to enter a always unlocked door, that is such a privilege, and we should be so thankful for that. We should, okay? And then the very last action word is give. Now, in Psalm 100, it tells us to bless his name. I used the word give because the Lord gives us blessings. Yes, he does. He gives us so much. And I like to think about giving back to him by always having thanksgiving in our heart for what we've received. And you know what? Giving to others is a great way to show that Jesus lives in your heart. To freely transfer the possession of something or to hand it over is what the word give means. And in almost every single lesson, or probably at least every single Thanksgiving lesson that Miss Michelle has done this month, we've talked about giving thanks. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and let me give thanks unto the Lord. And you know, littles, it's really simple. It's a simple thing for you to show actions is so very simple. You don't have to have words, but your actions can speak so loud, and they can speak so loud to grown-ups. They can, because your heart and your mind is of a child, and that's the way the Lord tells us we all have to be. We all have to have the mindset of a child. And you know, I think that being with you and like this, or even in Sunday school, it really, really helps me as an adult to know how to act, because I feel like my actions toward you and when I'm around you should be an example of how your actions should be. So I want you to think a little bit about your actions this week. Think about them through the holiday season of Thanksgiving. Give thanks unto the Lord for all that you've received, all that you have, and especially give thanks through your actions so others can see that and know. And you can be a teacher to everyone through your actions. You can. If you look at the last slide, it says, let your actions always speak louder than your words. Okay? Always do what you want people to see, and you don't really even have to say anything. Words aren't required. Actions always speak louder. Okay? And I have those two little pilgrim children there to remind you that, you know, the actions of a child are very, very strong. They're very strong, okay? All right. So you go out and be a great, thankful action maker during this holiday season. And I want you and your family to have a very happy Thanksgiving. So I put a little message here that says, Happy Thanksgiving to all my littles and their families. I do love you, and every single day, not just on here on Sundays, but every single day, I am thankful for my littles. You have a good one, littles. Happy Thanksgiving.